What is going on to you, Aries? I said that I was gonna go ahead and do you, Aries, first, so that's what I'm gonna do. So for you, Aries, you have the Page of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and you have the Five of Wands. So warm, but anyway, for you, Aries, right? That's interesting. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The Page of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands speaks to how you, Aries, are in the works right now, getting to know someone. But you, Aries, don't need their crap. And what I mean by that is like their delusion of grandeur, right? The Queen of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles, they're giving you a hard time. And you Aries don't necessarily know whether or not you should actually stay away from them or if you are going to attract them in, because there's a sense of you and this person, like you, Aries, obviously having value, and this person is like, hey, they're not going to necessarily do certain things, and you don't necessarily know if they have real long-term value yourself. You don't know that. A lot of you, Aries, are interested in getting to know said person. If this is not necessarily a person, this could also be you, Aries, needing to understand on a deeper level, why is it that sometimes people give you such a difficult time when it is that you're trying to put them in a particular situation where they can actually be with you. And I'm seeing how, like, there's something about these people really not wanting to do it at all. You have the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, right? And these people, King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and like these people just like you getting to know them, and like you're just starting off on kind of the wrong foot, a very difficult, rough patch, right? Very early on. And you, Aries, trying to figure out why that is. I don't necessarily see it as one particular person anymore. I see it more so like a situation where it's like you, Aries, you'll get to know people and talk and laugh and have fun, and then it has a very serious turn where a lot of you, Aries, are trying to figure out, well, how did it get to this point? How could this person, how you and this person could just have a falling through, right? The two of you don't rock with each other. You don't like each other. It just seems like it just seems like you, Aries, are going so great with somebody, and then out of nowhere, an argument. And this kind of piggybacks off of what it is that I was talking about with the whole being your own guardian angel thing, because what I meant by that is that's an alchemical process, or that's a alchemical, spiritual, magical process, is learning how to be your own guardian angel, right? What happens is that you go through so much stuff with others. You, Aries, are in the phase right now where you realizing that a lot of the problems, not all of them, right? Because we still have to take accountability. But a lot of our problems comes from others, and our need to associate, our need to have a social circle, our need to associate other people into our plans, and actually have like an emotional support system where we rolling in packs, and those people are just like I said, those people are our emotional support system, right? So because of the fact that they are our emotional support system, we want to include them into every area of our life. And sometimes they don't necessarily can be included in that area because all it is that they're going to do is mess it up. And then you stay attached to some of these people. But where your holy guardian angel come into play is when you become so exhausted of not getting the answers that you've been looking for, advancement or progress or whatever, right? To the point where you decide that you might as well do some things by yourself. So now you go through this whole internal spiritual process, and it's a real thing where you realize that you have to be pretty much by yourself. Like the most spiritual people that I know, that I've ever known, are usually alone, or right, meaning single, alone, by themselves, a loner, or they're an individual that's in a relationship and that's their whole world. That's their world, right? Like that's their social circle. They have family members and all of that, but like, you know, obviously they have family members, right? Obviously, otherwise they wouldn't be born. But they just, you know, their family that they have created is their whole world. And that's how it is a lot of the times for very spiritual people, because the world is toxic. So now you out here trying to get to know other people, they're gonna, like, people are gonna steadily tell you, especially real dysfunctional people are gonna really tell you about what it is that they're not gonna do for you. You're dating them and they're still talking about what they're not gonna do for you, right? So what do you, and see, this is again 5 of Wands. This is the need for contention, the issue, the problem, the back and forth. It's because you Aries want them to sacrifice for you, because they're expecting you to be, they're expecting you Aries to do all the one to be the ones to put in a lot of the work. And yet again, this is what I be trying to say when I say that a lot of you Aries are beginning to understand the frustration of why it is that I be so frustrated when I can't stand it when people who are like dating me telling me they're not going to do this. And it's like, that's not what this thing is about at all. Me getting your body is not what it is. That's not the principle of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about principles. I'm talking about the fact that you constantly move the goalposts, because it's like they'll say things, right? Meaning them. They will say things like they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that, they're not going to do this, right? And they're not going to be taken advantage of. But yet they actually go do anything and try to create relationships from someone who, and with someone who is dysfunctional. But then I'm actually giving them a commitment, or would have been a commitment, and they have a hard time doing anything for me. This is the confusion and the stupidity of it all. It's like you won't even do something for somebody who's actually having your back and giving you a commitment. So the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords is about how you have to essentially learn to, you Aries have to essentially learn to be a little bit more straightforward about how you interact with others. And what I mean by that is like, because I'm seeing some relationship woes. I'm seeing some real terrible miscommunications where it's like the person is expecting you to do a lot of the work. Person in general, when you're talking to them and getting to know them, are expecting you Aries to do a lot of the work, to put in a lot of the effort, while they do nothing. And the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords is about how you Aries have to learn to be very not just determined to find someone that is a right match for you, but you Aries have to get to a point where you stop allowing people to get on your nerves with their intellectual dishonesty, right? And what I mean by that is, like, again, learn how to cut them off. There's a lot of stuff going on, but cut them off, excommunicate them. And what I mean by that, what I mean when I say excommunicate, I mean, like, simply put, right? A lot of you Aries have to when you meet some people, get to know them, but see if they bring value to you immediately. If they're not offering value to you, then they got to get out of your life. Because the problem that you Aries are having is y'all are waiting to see a person's value. Y'all are getting to know them, but you're waiting to see their value. And the waiting around is just going to do just that. It's going to be, you're going to put yourself in a position where you're always going to wait. This is what the Six of Pentacles represents. To make sure that the interaction that you Aries are having is a reciprocal one. You Aries want to make sure that when you get to know people, they're showing you value immediately, just like you're showing them value. If the two of you are not showing each other value immediately, right? Maybe the two of you exchange numbers, they call you. You plan a date. They go Dutch with you, half and half, paying the bill. Right? Or maybe they ask to go somewhere that isn't going to break your pockets. That isn't going to get all kind of notifications, but isn't going to break your pockets. So they're being considerate about you. You don't have to spend anything to right, like, because a lot of the times people don't understand that whoever pays for both people on a date, they're taking a loss. They are, factually, they're taking a loss. They're taking a financial loss because they're not spending money on the date to just come up with nothing. They're trying to actually get to know the other person, right? And it sucks where it's like the date is expensive and then they come out and pay it and then they out of this money. And it's like, dang, like, they could have been using that money to do something much more constructive or save it, right? Save the money for a rainy day, you know? And that's the thing, because the Seven of Swords and the Hierophant is about how, because you Aries still are meeting some people who are spiritually compromised. And the reason why you still meeting some of those people, part of the reason why you're still meeting some of those people who are spiritually compromised like that, is because you Aries are, you're just dating. And dating, you're gonna find some people who are by definition spiritually compromised, right? The world is convinced that the way that they should date is a dysfunctional, messed up basket case way of dating, a confused, warped basket case way of dating. So the thing is that, like, you're going to meet some nut jobs sometimes. The best thing for you to do is to keep that in mind. And number two is for you to be able to see if they're bringing you value immediately. Like, for instance, right? Like, if a person is playing the game or playing with you and wasting your time, you Aries will be able to know that they're wasting your time based upon if they disappear. Now, I'm not saying that they should call or text you every single day, but they should at least reach out to you and say what's up and find out if you actually want to go do something, right? So if they don't do any of that, and it seems like there's a prolonged period of time between when the two of you actually get a chance to see each other, they're running game. And what I mean when I say that is they only want to hang out with you once a week consistently, right? Or less. Sometimes it's like, sometimes it's like once every 2 weeks, maybe even once a month you see these people. That's a problem, because those people are showing you that they're really not going to be there for you, because somebody taking your phone call, or maybe even texting you or calling you once a week, within a month you're going to have something good happen, you're going to have something bad happen. If they only want to speak to you or even reach out to you first once a month, right? That's so many things keep happening at that time. How can you establish a relationship with someone essentially who is a rolling stone? And the answer is you can't. So the problem that you Aries are having, honestly, is that you are having some road blockages. You're having people who are inconsistent. You're having dating problems. You're having people who are not just inconsistent with their attendance, right? Them being there, but inconsistent with value, right? They're trying to make it seem like anything that you Aries ask for is too much. You're playing them. You're asking for something that is so far out of the realm of what should exist in a relationship that it's just so much. It's too big of a price. It's too much to ask for. And you Aries have to learn here, right, in your heart and in your whole being, heart and mind, body, whole being, your soul, your heart, everywhere, that you're not. You're not. So that's pretty much it. Oh, I gotta actually clarify a card, my bad. So let's clarify the Hierophant. This is what I want you Aries to really understand. Like, a lot of you going through some dating issues right now because you don't necessarily know how to get through certain obstacles that other people are intentionally putting up. So to clarify the Hierophant, we have the Sun card, Nine of Cups, Judgment, Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. Right. The Sun and the Nine of Cups and the Judgment speaks to the awareness that you Aries are very much so aware that people are causing their own problems, and that it's creating a problem for you because it makes things harder for you Aries to actually get to know somebody, especially when they're making things intentionally difficult for you. And so you Aries now come in to look for answers as to what to do. And like I said before, you have to learn that a person who's going to choose to be a rolling stone, you can do nothing about that. That's just something that they're choosing to be. You have to go off and go find somebody else who isn't going to be a rolling stone. You see these people once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month type stuff, right? Now, the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Swords right here is about how once you do that, you should be able to actually have things start going for you in your favor, because you Aries are causing yourself stress with not getting along or being what naturally comes to you. You Aries know good and well that you don't want to be in any kind of situation where it's frustrating, right? Dating is frustrating because people who engage in this type of dysfunctional dating and all of that, if that's what you could call it, that's what you could call it. Anyway, honestly, it's because of the fact that those people are engaging in a way where they do not go for what is actually working for them. So that's pretty much it. Other than that, you Aries are doing great. You just have to get over some obstacles. And then in the next reading, if you're still having these issues, I'm going to teach you how to actually get over these obstacles.